Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at iAngelBabyNails. Subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit that bell button to receive notifications on when I upload. This is the acrylic full set for beginners supply list, and the following you will need: a cuticle pusher, a cuticle nipper, a nail clipper or cutter, 100% pure acetone, 70% alcohol, any tips of your choice, any glue of your choice. I use K&M nail glue, a tip cutter, any file of your choice. I use the OPI Edge 150 file, a Bond Aid OPI dehydrator, no lift nail primer, acrylic powder. I use OPI Absolute, OPI monomer, number 12 brush or any brush that you decide to use, medium coarse drill bit in gold, buffer, IBD Intense Seal top coat gel, and KIARA Skies LED UV lamp or any lamp of your choice. Okay, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna spray alcohol on the nails and you're gonna push back the cuticles. The reason why we spray alcohol is to disinfect the nails, and the reason we push back the cuticles is because there's a lot of dead nail hanging around, and you don't want that to be on the acrylic because it will make it lift or pop off. Then we are going to take the 180 sanding bit and we're going to remove the shine off the natural nails, because our body produces oil and acrylic do not go together, so therefore you must remove the shine off the natural nails. I am using my drill by Melody SUSIE in the Scarlet edition. You can use any drill you would like, but this is the one that I use. Okay, then we're going to measure the tips. Now when you're measuring your tips, make sure it fits sidewall to sidewall. The following tips that I am using in this set is my natural clear tips. The reason why I say natural, because it is clear tips, is because it is a regular square shape. Because usually, you know, if you watch my channel, I use stiletto tips a lot of the time. Then we're gonna glue the tip to the natural nail, and a lot of people always ask, how far along do you glue the tip? It is just a little bit, just on the very end of the tip. You don't want to put it too much in, you don't want to put it too much out. Just how you see it, that's exactly how it should be glued onto. Alrighty, so now I'm going to take my 150 OPI edge file and I'm going to file the nails. We are doing the square shapes, and I did cut out the part where we use the tip cutter. All you got to do is make sure you cut the tip to the desired length and then measure the tips. Now, of course, when you file, you go side to side and then free edge, just like how I'm doing it. And you will see different angles throughout this video that I move the camera around, so I hope you're enjoying it. I like to switch it up. Okay, so now I'm going in with that same sanding bit and I'm going to blend the tip. This is called the prepping stage, blending the tips. And I do apologize, I do not have nails on right now. It's because I just removed it a few days ago because I was super busy and I did not have time to do my nails and there was a lot of acrylic stuck on it, so therefore I just decided to remove it. Okay, and this is called the dehydrating the nails, and you're gonna take your OPI dehydrator and you are going to dehydrate the nails twice. You only place the dehydrator on the natural nails, you do not have to place it on the tips. Now the reason why we use dehydrator is because if you missed any spots with the sanding bit, it will take care of it. Then we're gonna take our no lift primer and we're gonna prime the nails. Now with the primer, you can do it on the natural nails only, or you can do the natural to the tip. I like doing natural to the tip because it blends it super well. I love when the tips are blended. And this brush that I'm using is a 3D brush. The brush that it comes with, I don't like using it. I like using this one on my cleanup brush. Alrighty, so now we are ready for the acrylic application where we use the OPI monomer and polymer. I am using my number 12 brush and I'm using translucent pink for this set by OPI. Now usually I like brilliant pink, is my favorite, but I ran out, so I would have to use my translucent pink. And it's the same, it's just that the brilliant pink is a little bit darker than this one, but this I used to use a lot, so I have a lot of it. And I just one day bought the brilliant pink and I just wanted to see how it was, and I liked it, so I ended up wanting to use it as the main. But since I ran out, I'm using my translucent, so it's a great backup. Now make sure when you're applying your acrylic, make sure you are cleaning up the sides, cleaning up the cuticles and everything, because you do not want any acrylic left over on the nails, on the side of the nails or the acrylic, because there will be lifting. And soon you get used. If you do this routine, you will get used to it. You would never have to say, oh, I forgot to clean up the sides or clean up around the cuticle, because you will be very used to it. Now you see me, I always do it. Sometimes there's literally nothing around the cuticles and nothing around the nails, but I just do it because I'm used to it. Now you will see me pick up a bead and drain out some of the monomer because it's too liquidy, and you do not want your beads to be too liquidy because it'll be all over the place and it'll be so hard to clean up. Granted, it does happen when you are, doing your thing and you're in a rush, but especially with this translucent pink, it always does it, so you gotta make sure. And you can look around the nail as you go on different angles to make sure you're applying the correct bead. And make sure that you don't pick up too much of a big bead, because there'll be a lot of drilling, or too small. You can pick up small, but you can end up doing more of the more ball methods. Okay, so the first bead on this one, you place it from the tip to the natural nail where it meets. You are building the apex here. The apex is extremely important because that's where the nail gets its strength from. Then I'm placing a second bead right above the first one. Then I'm placing the third bead by the tip. And the fourth bead by the cuticle. clean up the sides, clean up the cuticle area, and then I'll place one more bead by the cuticle. Sometimes it depends how big of the bead you pick up, like I said. Don't worry about, oh, I'm only doing a 4-ball, 3-ball, 2-ball, or even 1-ball. It doesn't matter. As long as you know you're building up the nail correctly, your clients will appreciate it. You will appreciate you did it because it gives strength. And they love it because it looks like you took time and love, which you have. Because building up the nail is not easy, especially when you are new and you are a beginner, because you are still learning. And don't worry if you are not perfect. Nobody's perfect when they start, but you will soon get it. It's super easy. And once you have a lot of practice definitely makes perfect. As you can see, I am moving the nail on different angles to make sure that I am applying enough acrylic. And how do you know if you're applying enough acrylic? I like to describe it as a hill. Like with the cuticle area, it should be a little bit with a lot of acrylic, but not too much. And then going like down, like a downhill, if that makes sense. And also, there's a good tip that I'm going to give you, which is if you place the nail down as you are applying the acrylic, gravity will take its place and it will go down from there and help you. Now, I know for a lot of beginners, a number 12 brush is pretty big, but trust me, when I first started, I was using a number 20, which I still don't know how I did that. But I went down to a 12, which is so perfect for me. For me, it really depends on how long is the nails. Like I was doing some long nails, like stiletto or coffin, or even square long nails. I'll use a number 20 brush, but most of the time I do use a number 12 brush. And I did get this brush, number 12, from my local supply store. But you can get it from Amazon, eBay. Just put in number 12 KOLISKY acrylic brush. guys, it is so super important to learn the polymer and monomer stage, the acrylic application stage, because and learning how to use the brush, because it is super important. It really determines how the nail is going to look, because you can file really good, you can drill really good, you can do whatever, but if you do not apply that acrylic application correct, it is not good, especially if you're a beginner and you're still learning this part, which is the normal adding the acrylic application, regular acrylic application to the nails, and not encapsulating or adding 3D or glitter or whatever. You must learn this part before you can do the other parts. Some technicians, they want to learn, you know, the ombres, the encapsulating nails and all kinds of stuff, but if you do not this part, there's no point to learning that. Trust me, you have to practice on this part, because this is just the basics. And especially if you get a square, it is definitely the basics. And if you apply your application correct, you won't have to do a lot of drilling. But again, don't worry if you're not perfect or you feel like you're not perfect, because it does take time. It definitely takes time, but you must practice. I mean, and if you could practice on, you know, practice hands and stuff, but try to practice on people, because it's the best way. Alrighty, so now this is the redefining stage. I'm going to go back in with my OPI 150 edge file, and I'm going to file her nails again, because when you apply the acrylic application, it does take away the shape from it. So you want to define that shape. For me, I like my client's nails to be sharp and crisp, which all of them do like it like that. So I like to make sure this part is done. Alrighty, so now we're doing the drilling part, which I am using my medium coarse drill bit, and we're gonna focus on that cuticle area. That means we're gonna go around like I'm doing right now, and a few times, and then use the body of the nail drill bit and to file and drill the body of the nail, if that makes sense. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing with the other hand. Now you don't have to do it the way I do it, which is use one hand, file, then drill, and then go to the other hand. You can just file all of them, then drill all of them. But to me, that gets really boring, and I've been doing this for 10 years. So therefore, I like to switch it up sometimes, not be the traditional way. Alrighty, so I put the camera closer so you guys can get a close look on how I file. So like you see, I file from side and then to the other side and then off the free edge. Now I'm going to show you a closer look on how to drill, which you see me going a couple of times around the cuticle and then going down to the body. That cuticle area is super important. You must drill it until you see a little bit of the natural nails, because that's where the lifting comes from. You definitely do not make that cuticle area thick, because trust me, it will lift within a few days. So you definitely want to be careful when you are applying the acrylic application on that part, because if you do make it thick, yes, you can go back in with a drill, but if you're a beginner, you have to be careful if you're not used to using the drill to drill off that part. Then you're going to take a buffer and you're going to buff out the nails, and this is called the buffing stage. Make sure you go over it with one of your fingers after each time you buff to make sure it's smooth, because if not, it will show in your acrylic application. I mean, your polishing application. Okay, so now we're gonna start the polishing application. I am using a mood polish by D&D called Pretty Pink in the number 13. And before you start polishing, make sure they go wash their hands and everything, and then come back. You could spray alcohol if you want, or you can go straight to the polishing. Now, since this is a mood changing polish and it is a very light, it's from a dark pink to a light pink, which is so freaking pretty. I did use 3 coats for this. Usually you can do 2 depending how pigmented it is. D&D, some of their product is not very pigmented, so therefore you have to put more coats. And then if you get any polish around the cuticle or around the side of the nail, you can go back in with your cleanup brush and some acetone and clean around it like I'm doing right now. And sometimes there's nothing on the nail and I still go with the with the cleaner and clean around, and literally there's nothing there. Alright, then you're gonna put it in the LED UV lamp for 30 seconds. And make sure you are capping the free edge, which is the tip of the nail with the polish, because there's one thing about it that I cannot stand: when some nail techs do not do that and it's just clear. And trust me, if you do not do that, it's gonna be a chance that the polish will chip. Now, in this video, unfortunately, it did not record the part where I placed the top coat. So after I finished polishing the nails in this video, there's no part of when I was applying the top coat. Make sure when you are doing the polishing, you are curing it for 30 seconds each coat. And then for the top coat, you can do a 60 seconds or you can do a 90 seconds. I like to do a 90 seconds. Okay, so now we are placing the second. As you can see, the polish did change when we put in the LED UV lamp. Guys, this is such a beautiful pink. And I will leave the link in the description of where you can get this polish and the name of it and everything. All the supplies that I've listed will be in the description below as well. And now cure it for 90 seconds. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. I hope it gave you great tips and good luck, and send me your word. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at iAngelBabyNails. Thanks for watching.